Hello and welcome back to another RostyMaths video, and welcome to our Year 7 Maths series. So we are still on numbers, on the composite of number, and we are going through our primes, factors and multiples section here. We've got 2 more videos to do on this section, so look out for those. Today we're going on to prime factors, all important one on prime factors. Let's jump right in to prime factors. Now, in the previous lesson, we learned about our prime numbers. And if you remember well, I'll just go back to it just a second. We've used 100 square. We highlighted all of the composite numbers. And what we had left was our prime numbers. So now we're going to jump on to doing our prime factor decomposition. So in other words, what that means is you take a composite number and you split it apart and represent it as just a product of prime numbers. Product in maths means to multiply. So you want to have just prime numbers that when you multiply, you get back that number. Let's start with our first number. So on our first number, I probably should choose a pen, shouldn't I? Our first number is the number 20. Okay, now when the number is an odd number, an even number in this case, I would almost always try and half it all the time because I know 2 is a prime number and it's really, really easy to work with 2s until I really don't have to. So let's go. So I'm going to split my 20 up now. Here's the question you've got to ask yourself. 2 times what makes 20? Well, 2 times 10 makes 20. So the 2 numbers that I have chosen here, they multiply to make the number up there, and it's always multiply. It's never add or subtract, always multiply. All right, cool. So now I'm going to circle that 2, and the reason why I circle it is because it's a prime number and I've stopped with the 2. Now I need to decompose the 10. The 10 is still even, so 2 times what makes 10? Well, 2 times 5 makes 10. And I'm circling the 2 and the 5, and that's because 2 is even and 5 is even. You stop when all of the ends of your branches have got prime numbers. If you don't have a prime number on any branch at the end, you have to keep going until it's just a prime number. Okay, so anyway, we're going to stop there. So that means that 20 is actually equal to 2 times 2 times 5. And I got those from this 2 and this 2 and that 5. Okay, and if you check it, let's check it together. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 5 makes 20. So we know it's right. Okay, so that's the expanded form. You can be asked to give it in index form. And if you're asked to give it in index form, so I'm going to write the word index form here. If you're asked to give it in index form, see how many 2's you've got. Well, I've got 2 2's there. So this is 2 to the power 2. Make sure you write the power as a little number at the top. And then I times that by 5. So this is it in index form. So look out for that if you're asked for it in index form. All right, let's look at another number. So let's look at a number like, I want to start with, let's look at another number like 27. So I'm going to go for 27 here. Now 27 is not an even number, so you can't start with 2 in this case. You may have to start with 3, and because we know our times tables, check my video out on times tables. Because we know our times tables, I know that 3 times 9 gives me 27. So I'm going to circle that 3 there because that 3 is definitely a prime number. But the 9 is not a prime number, so I've got to keep going. And so for the 9, I'm going to go 3 times 3 makes 9. And then we're now finished because at the end of all of them, we just have 3's there. Okay, cool. So now I know that 27 is equal to 3 times 3 times 3 in the expanded form. And in the index form, 27 is equal to 3 to the power of 3. And that's because I've got 3 3's multiplying there. All right, one more to finish off the video today. I'm going to go a little bit bigger. Let's go for 120. A little bit bigger number there. So again, as my rule of thumb, I will start with 2's because that's an even number. So let's start with 2's. Well, 2 times 60 makes 120. Circle the 2. 2 times 30 makes 60. And then 2 times 15 makes 30. Circle the 2. That 15 is not an even number, that's an odd number. So we'll need to split that apart into 3 times 5 to make 15. And we are now finished because now we've only got prime numbers at the end of all of our little stems. So therefore that means that 120 is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Or to keep it nice and neat in index form, 120 is equal to 2 to the power 3, and that's because we've got 1, 2, 3 2's there, times 3 times 5. Okay, and that's finished. So this is called prime factor decomposition, where we can take any number and represent it as a product. Product means multiply, as a product of its prime factors. Okay. This will come in handy when we do the next section, which is all about highest common factor, lowest common multiples. So make sure you're really good at this one. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you've learned something new. Please jump onto your textbooks or whichever websites your school will normally use and practice some of these to make sure that you have got it to a T. Don't forget, times tables are really important here. If your times tables are not very good, then you might struggle with this. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Have a great day and thanks for hanging out. Peace.